Hello everyone, today I'm joined by Dallas Buckle to discuss a bit about his story and how he was able to advance his career with the help of Intellectual Point. So, Dallas, what branch of the military were you in?
Hey Robert. So I was in the Army. I was a medic, a combat medic in the 82nd Airborne.
Awesome. And you kind of led into this, but what was your MOS?
Yeah, it was a 68 whiskey, which is a medic. At the time, they called it healthcare specialist. Is now just back to combat medic.
Okay. And when the time came to leave the service, what did you end up doing?
So when I made the choice to get out of the service, I decided I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to jump back into IT. I'd kind of dabbled in it before, and so I had a little bit of background in that, and it's always been an interest of mine. So that's kind of the direction I went.
Perfect. And kind of piggybacking off that, did you have any prior IT experience before or during your service?
So I had prior experience working for a small computer business, just doing computer repair, warranty work, maintenance, upgrades, all that kind of stuff. So it was always just kind of more of a hobby, and I decided I wanted to turn it into a career.
Okay, awesome. And what led you to find or hear about Intellectual Point?
So actually, I was working a job as a contractor at Cisco, Cisco Systems, and one of my coworkers, who also was a former vet, or was a veteran rather, he was in the Navy for 6 years, and he had gotten out, and he had somehow through whatever channels he had on his side, had found out about you guys, and he was like, "Hey, have you heard about this program through this company, Intellectual Point?" They offer certifications to veterans, and they have a really good track, and it doesn't use hardly any of your VA benefits. It doesn't use any of the GI Bill, so you can still keep that as long as you have some. And of course, you know all this, but yeah, all that kind of tied into it, and it's like, wow, this is a program I'd never heard of before. I guess the vet tech program is fairly new, but yeah, that was my introduction to it.
Now, which pathway did you decide to pursue with us here at IP?
So I did the DevOps pathway with I think it's a Sec Plus, and then that's followed by CEH and then Splunk.
Awesome. Now, after just recently finishing the program, what are your thoughts on the IP team, instructors, veteran success specialists? Were they beneficial in helping you succeed?
So no, the process was actually really good. I enjoy, especially, and I'm sure you have probably heard this from other veterans, but it's kind of like fire hose training. So, or like you're drinking from a fire hose, I guess is the saying. But it's like a lot of information packed into very short amounts of time. But that actually worked out really well because I was working a full-time job at the time, and so then use the weekends to for the certification training. Uh, yeah, it took some of my weekends away, but it was definitely worth it in my opinion.
Perfect. And lastly, what advice would you give to someone who is in your position prior to coming through Intellectual Point and is a bit unsure? What would be some words of wisdom?
So one thing I noticed, there was a lot of people that were in the classes that I don't think had a lot of experience with IT. They were coming in from various MOSs in the military. I mean, I had a little bit of background before the military, yet at the same time, I was coming out of a completely unrelated MOS. And the instructors and the staff, faculty, they all make sure you have all the information you need. Like I didn't have any trouble passing any of the exams. They had all the information lined up as long as you put in the time, the effort, and it's accomplishing the mission. That sounds cliche, but it's like you just you get what you want, and you get as much out of it as you put into it. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dallas, for sharing a bit about your story and how you were able to advance your career with the help of Intellectual Point. We hope to see you back soon.